Welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at the Nitecore TM12K 12,000 lumen flashlight. Let's check it out. All right, this is everything the Nitecore TM12K, the tiny monster 12,000 lumen flashlight comes with. Give you a look at the box there. Comes with a USB Type A to Type C charging cable. Give you a look at the holster here. The holster's not that bad. Velcro flap on the front. Attaches to your belt with Velcro. Is a plastic D-ring right there on the back. And when the flashlight is in there, it peeks out through the bottom. Just to give you an idea what that looks like, there's the flashlight in the holster right there. Fits pretty nice. Warranty information and your user manual. And it comes with this sheet of paper warning you that yes, this is 12,000 lumens and it does get very hot. I'll be testing that out when I do my heat test a little bit later on in this video. But let's put everything off to the side here and I'll give you guys a nice close-up of the Nitecore TM12K, the tiny monster 12,000 lumen flashlight. And while you guys are checking this out, let's talk about some of the features. So the TM12K has a maximum output of 12,000 lumens, a maximum beam distance of 250 meters, and a maximum beam intensity of 15,600 candela. It also has a max runtime of 200 hours on its ultra-low setting. And pushing out those 12,000 lumens are 6 CREE XHP50 LEDs. It features 5 lighting modes, a mode memory, and a lockout. You can also customize the high setting, and you can control those modes with dual side switches and a tail switch. It also has a multifunctional OLED display, where it reads out your lumen level, the voltage, the battery life, how many hours left on that battery, and the temperature. It has a built-in 4,800 milliamp hour 21700 rechargeable lithium-ion battery that's charged with a USB Type-C port on the tail. The body's made from an aluminum alloy and has a Type 3 hard anodized finish. It's impact resistant up to 1 meter, and it has an IP rating of 68. The 6 means it's completely dustproof, and the 8 means it's completely submersible in up to 6 feet of water. All right, let's talk dimensions. It has a length of 4.25 inches, a width of 1.61 inches, and is 1.22 inches thick. And yes, that does include the clip. And according to my weight test, it comes in at 8.3 ounces. That's 236 grams. So I've said this before, I really like the direction some of these flashlight designs are going. The wide, flat design, even though this isn't as flat as, say, something like the EDC 27 here, which I just did a review on. But you see what I'm saying, this wide flat design that fits very nice into your pockets. And actually these have very, very similar pocket clips, or very long pocket clips. Seats very nice into your pocket. And another example here is the Olight Arcfeld. It still has a flat design, but this one's just a little bit more contoured. And right here, this is the Woburn X2. You can see that wide, flat design. And one more comparison, the Nitecore TM20K. Obviously, this has 8,000 more lumens, so you need all those extra LEDs. But the similarities are right here on the back. You can see it has a very similar tail switch right there. And the TM12K has that much longer pocket clip right there. It has this metal flap over the USB Type-C charging port as opposed to just a rubber flap. And this metal cover is magnetized, so once it's shut, it's not just gonna plop open and flop all over the place. So getting back to the body, what I'm trying to say is I really like the wide, flat flashlights that have been coming out lately. It's a new trend and I like it. Now I'll give you guys a nice look right down the barrel there at those 6 CREE XHP50 LEDs that's capable of pushing out those 12,000 lumens. And regarding the body here, it's your typical aluminum alloy with your Type 3 hard anodized finish. But since it's wide and flat, you wouldn't think that it would feel good in your hands, but it actually does. You would think a round flashlight would feel better, but it just sits so nicely in the palm of your hands here. You can see the shape, it fits very nicely. I like it. And then they put 3 finger grooves right there on the side. You can see those finger grooves are perfectly spaced for my fingers to fit in. And then couple that off with this very nice texturing right there on the bottom of the flashlight. Everything feels great here. So it features 5 lighting modes that 4 of them are cyclable, and turbo you'd have to press and hold a button to reach it. There are no special modes, meaning there's no beacon, no strobe, and no SOS. But the UI does have a lighting mode memory and a button press lockout, which I like. And it's a 2-stage lockout. There's a half lockout and a full lockout, and you definitely need it, especially with these 12,000 lumens. This bad boy gets very, very hot. And that reminds me, I'm not really sure why Nitecore put this 12,000 lumens with exclamation points there on the side of the flashlight. I don't really like this. It looks just a little bit cheesy to me, so I think I can do without that 12,000 lumens exclamation point on the side of this flashlight. And I already mentioned this extra long stainless steel pocket clip right here. There's a lot of tension on this pocket clip. It's not easily removable, but you can see there's 3 screws right there on the top. So if you wanted to remove it, you could. So the TM12K features 2 side switches right there on the top of the flashlight, and the positioning feels pretty good. You can see where my thumb rests. I don't have to strain or anything like that trying to hit these buttons. So I do like the placement of these 2 side switches. And they didn't stop there. They also gave us a tail switch, which I showed you earlier. It's a metal tail switch, and this button exists to activate turbo. And there's also a blue LED right dead center of that button that acts as a beacon, and I'll show you how to activate that beacon when I talk about the UI. And one last thing before I move on, because this tail is flat, you can see that USB Type-C cover and the tail switch is flat. You can tail stand it. Now this is one huge plus in my book. I love tail standing my lights. And if you guys are wondering why, once it's on its tail, the light bounces off the ceiling, lights up the whole room instead of just a single spot. That's a feature that I use all the time, so it has a tail stand feature. Love it. Let's move on. All right, on the screen, I'll throw up the lumens and runtime information. You can see the ultra low is 6 lumens, has the maximum runtime of 200 hours, and has a beam distance of 5 meters. Then you have low at 100 lumens, a 20-hour runtime, and has a beam distance of 21 meters. Medium is 300 lumens, has a runtime of 7 hours and 30 minutes, and that shoots out 35 meters. Now you have your high, 1000 lumens, has an asterisk next to its runtime of 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it has a beam distance of 71 meters. And then turbo, 12,000 lumens, 250 meters, and a 15,600 candela beam intensity. You can see there's no runtime on turbo. That's because there is no constant turbo in this flashlight. As we saw in the EDC27, it's just going to be a temporary turbo, so it's a burst of turbo. But next I'll talk about the UI and we'll go over that a little bit more in depth. Now there's an asterisk right there next to the runtime on high. That's because high is customizable in this flashlight. You can customize it from 400 lumens all the way to 2000 lumens. By default, it comes in at 1000 lumens. So with that 2 hour and 15 minute runtime, it's at its default 1000 lumen setting. So let's talk about this OLED display here really quick. I already said how much I like the different functions here, but from off, if you press the mode button here, it goes to standby 420 volts. Now, if you turn it on, you can see it goes from level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. And then I'll show you what it looks like cycling through the volts, the battery life, the time remaining, and the temperature in Celsius. And after that, it just turns off. Now, if you are using a quick charging cable, it will show quick charging right there, and it takes about an hour and a half to charge this flashlight fully if you're quick charging it. And as you can see right here, when the charging is finished, it'll actually say charging finished, 4.20 volts. And I just realized I might have been saying 420 volts. That's ridiculous. It's 4.20 volts. Sorry about that. So now let's run down the UI. So this is the power button and this is the mode button. So to turn on the flashlight, just short press that on off button and then short press it off. And then while it's on, you just short press the mode button there to cycle through ultra low, low, medium, and high. Now while the flashlight is on, if you want to reach turbo through the side switches here, you have to press and hold that mode button, and you can see it activates turbo. It takes a few seconds for that to activate, as you can see right there. And when you press and hold that turbo button, you can see it has a countdown bar right there. So you only have a limited amount of time on turbo. When it runs out, it'll go right back down to high. It'll step down to high, 1000 lumens, or at least default 1000 lumens. Now sticking with the side switches here, if you press and hold the on-off button from off, it'll go directly to ultra low. And from off, if you press and hold the mode button, it'll go right to high. And the tail switch back here from on or off, if you press it, you can see it goes instantly to that 12,000 lumen turbo. I'll demonstrate that when the flashlight is on, press and hold. There you go. So you can see it is instant when you hit the turbo from that tail switch. It's a little bit different from holding it down from that side switch right here, which takes about 2 to 3 seconds to kick in. Now, before I start showing you some of the customization features here, let me show you how to lock the flashlight out. So while the flashlight is on, what you have to do is just press and hold that power button, and you're gonna see lockout 1 and then lockout 2. During lockout 2, nothing works. Neither one of these buttons here work, or you can see that tail switch isn't working. So that's the full lockout. And let me show you lockout 1. So lockout 1, let it go after the flash. Now we're in half lockout mode where the side switches do nothing, but this turbo button will still blind you. So just keep that in mind if you think you've locked it out, but you're only in 1. This button right here is very easy to press, and that 12,000 lumens is very, very bright. And I'll show you how to unlock it. What you wanna do is short press and then long press that power button. You can see unlock right there, and then now we're back in business. So now I'm going to show you guys how to customize high. What you want to do is navigate to the high level, and we're already there. Then press and hold the power button and the mode button. So there you go. Now we're in the customization mode. So what I can do is start pressing these buttons up and down. You can see it changes by 100 lumens every time I can go up or down. So you can see I'm gonna go all the way to 2000. Am I at 2000 now? It's tough to see. 17, 18, 19, 20. So now I just customize it to 2000 lumens. Press and hold, it should lock it in. There we go. So now I just set my high to 2000 lumens. And one more feature that I'm not really too sure of is the beacon mode. And it's not the beacon that you guys are thinking of where it flashes like a beacon. This beacon mode is going to activate this blue LED right here in the tail switch. So with the flashlight off, you want to press and hold those same 2 power button and mode button down until it says beacon on right there. And now we're in the beacon mode where you can see that blue light just flashes every couple seconds. Now this is supposed to have a 3-month standby where that just flashes like a beacon. For me, I'm not really sure I'm ever going to use this mode, but I can sort of see this being useful, especially if you have this on a shelf in a room somewhere and it's very dark in that room and you just want to be able to see that flashlight from far away. But once again, this feature really isn't for me, so I'm going to have that beacon permanently turned off. All right, so with my heat test here, so usually I let it run for 2 minutes, but because the TM12K doesn't have a constant turbo, I have to sit there and hold that tail button down, which isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. But I do have some numbers here that are interesting. So after 1 minute, the head got up to about 148 degrees Fahrenheit, and the body was about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. But after that, it was hard to get a turbo reading because it kept overheating. It just wouldn't go back to turbo, so it stayed on high. So after 2 minutes of running this test over and over and over again, the head was at 133 degrees, and the body rose to about 122 at the top, but it stayed right around 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can see right here, the screen says overheat. The body will literally not let you continue to push it on turbo. It'll just say overheat and let you run the flashlight on high at the max. All right, let's start the beam test inside. Right here is ultra low, those 6 lumens. Let's go right to low. Wow, okay. Very good. There's medium. And there's high. Remember, I kept this at 1000 lumens. Now you can double this if you want. I think I'm gonna keep it at 1000 just so I can have that extra battery life. And you guys can see this is plenty bright at 1000 lumens. And surprisingly, it has a little bit of a hot spot right there. I wasn't expecting a hot spot with those 6 LEDs the way they're arranged, but there it is. I'm trying to see how wide that beam is, but let's go to turbo. I'm gonna use the side switch turbo. Wow. There we go, 12,000 lumens, and you can see I'm not gonna have much time. And already this is getting hot. It's not as hot as that EDC 27 at the head, but the body is much hotter than that EDC 27 was. So The problem here is my thumb, because the body is shorter, my thumb is right here. So it's really close to that head at 100, what was it, 148 degrees Fahrenheit? I forgot already. But you guys get the idea. I don't want my fingers so close to the head here on turbo for that amount of time. And you can see, I wonder why they have that bar. Okay, anyways, let's start over again. Ultra low, low, medium, high. I'm just rambling here, sorry. All right, that's enough of inside beam test. Let's take this outside. All right, I'm gonna start here on the side yard today. There's ultra low. It's about 20 degrees out here. You can see there's still snow on the ground. So that might affect the beam test a little bit with some reflections, but I'm just looking at the width and how far this beam can throw. There's low. There's medium. You can see that is a nice floody beam. I mean, that is really wide. That first tree right there is about 70 meters away. Let's go to high. Right there, high, yep, level 4. So 70 meters away, you can see I am kissing that tree. You can see somewhat of that back tree line right there. And let's go to 12,000 lumens, and there we go. Now we can see everything. Man, that is bright. I mean, you're talking about 12,000 lumens here. This lights up this whole field. Check that out. And yeah, it's already starting to get warm. So you guys get the idea. 95% of the time, you're going to be right here in this 1,000 lumens or whatever you guys put it at. Actually, I was even thinking about putting it at 1,500 lumens, just a nice mix between that 1,000 default and the highest 2,000 level. I might do that. I might not. I'm not sure. I like to have more battery life, and those 1,000 lumens are plenty for me. But let's move on. All right, start with ultra low here. Just going to move right on to low. All right, sort of kissing those trees right there. And I'm kind of getting some headlights behind me. So there we go. Low, medium. All right. And there's high, 1,000. So like I said, that high, I'm going to keep it right there, that 1,000 lumens. And it's a very small hotspot, but it's a fairly even spread to this beam, as you can see. But I'm just more impressed at how wide. Look at this. I'm way over there. Wow. You can see where my flashlight is, and look how wide this beam is. That is insane. Now let's go to 12,000 lumen turbo. And all right, there we go. I can sort of see those trees back there. And those trees are 114 meters. That structure is 109 meters away. So once again, I think that 250 meter estimate is a little bit generous. Those tests are done in labs, and I'm out here in 20-degree weather near Buffalo, New York, testing this. And I'm telling you, 114 meters, I can barely see those trees back there getting any light at all. But you guys get the idea. What do you guys think of this beam here? It definitely lights up this yard for sure. But let's take this back inside and give you my final thoughts. All right, the Nitecore TM12K is a beast for sure. TM, tiny monster, they nailed it. But if you guys are buying this flashlight because it's 12,000 lumens, I would say don't buy it for that reason, because you're only getting about 7 seconds of turbo, and the flashlight will basically shut itself down. It will overheat. It'll tell you right on the screen, overheat, and just step down to high. So once again, this is a 1,000 lumen flashlight with a 12,000 lumen burst. But you technically could set your high to be 2,000 lumens. Now you have yourself a 2,000 lumen flashlight with a 12,000 lumen burst. But either or, it's still just marketing 12,000 lumens. It's 7 seconds. That's it. But when you activate turbo, even for those 7 seconds, it literally turns night into day. You guys saw those beam shots. It is extremely bright. I'm sort of doubting that 250 meter throw. My trees were 114 meters away and I was barely kissing those trees. But even after all of that, this is still one impressive flashlight. I love the OLED multifunctional display right here with the temperature readout, the battery readout, voltage, lumens. I love that. I love the flat shape of this body. It feels great in your pocket, and this very long pocket clip. Wow. Sorry about that. This flashlight isn't locked out, but this pocket clip feels very nice when it's in your pocket. The body, the shape, the pocket clip, I love how this feels in my pockets. So it's still pretty impressive to have those 12,000 lumens just carrying around in your pockets, because something like this, the TM20K, yes, it's 8,000 lumens more, but there is no way I'm fitting this giant beast in my pockets. So you can see the size difference here between the 20K and the 12K. It is a massive size difference. I like the simplified UI, but I'm not really sure if we need these dual side switches here. As we see in 1,000 other flashlights, you can put the on-off button and the mode button in the same switch. But they tried to pack in so many other features where you need these buttons to either hold down or the ultra low, instant access to ultra low, instant access to high. That's why they have these two buttons right here, but I think we can do without it because they can technically get rid of this button and just put those button presses with the tail switch and the side switch. And all the other features I think are great here. The instant access to turbo, the USB Type-C charging port with a quick charging function, an hour and a half to charge this flashlight, pretty good. But one negative here, and it's a negative that I have a lot with Nitecore, is the built-in lithium-ion battery. When this battery goes dead and you're in the field somewhere, this is just a pretty expensive paperweight. And how expensive are we talking? Well, right now, Nitecore has it on their website for $259.95, so $260. But at least it has an IP68 rating where it is submersible and up to 6 feet of water versus the EDC 27's 54 rating. You guys know how I felt about that rating if you saw my review on that flashlight. So IP68, 12,000 lumens, you get a 200-hour runtime, a fantastic OLED multi-display. Now, if they can figure out how to cool this flashlight so we can get a little bit longer runtime on that 12,000 lumens, maybe with the version 2, I think the TM12K is a winner. But in its current state, it's hard to recommend this flashlight at $260 when it's a 1,000 or 2,000 lumen flashlight in this size of a body at that price with only 7 seconds of turbo, which overheats and completely shuts down the flashlight, at least on that 12,000 lumen turbo. But if you guys need that super high lumen burst in such a small body, such as this, where you can just stick it in your pocket, then you might want to check this flashlight out. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you think of the Nitecore TM12K? Now, if you want to check this out for yourself, I will have links down below in my description box. But if you did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe. And go!